Welcome to the Alcohol Reset, the podcast that helps you reset your habits, health, and relationship with alcohol without judgment or extremes. If you're looking to cut back, take a break, or just understand how drinking can affect your body and mind, you're in the right place. Each episode brings you science-backed insights on neuroscience, nutrition, and habit change to help you feel better, sleep deeper, and take control on your terms. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, best-selling author, neuroscience enthusiast, and habit change expert. I've helped thousands through my book and podcast to rethink their drinking, and now I'm here to help you do the same. Let's get started. Do you ever have one of those moments where something just feels slightly off, but you immediately tell yourself, it's fine? Your sleep is a little worse than usual, your energy is just a bit lower, you feel slightly more irritable, maybe carrying a low hum of anxiety in the background. Nothing dramatic, nothing broken, so you keep going. You push through the day, you show up to work, you do what you've always done, and then at the end of the day, you pour your usual drink. Same time, same routine, just to take the edge off. And your brain quietly tells you, this is fine. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, author of No Willpower Required and founder of Cloud9. And today, we're breaking down what's actually happening in your biology when you hear that voice. Because the real danger here isn't that something is terribly wrong. It's that nothing is terribly wrong. Humans usually change when something breaks, when the pain becomes obvious, when the situation becomes impossible to ignore. But the most dangerous place to live is the middle, where things aren't great, but they're not bad enough to force change. So let's unpack why your brain keeps you there. Because this isn't a mindset problem, it's a wiring problem. Your brain is not designed to optimize your life. It's designed to conserve energy. It's an efficiency engine, not an optimization engine. It doesn't care if you're thriving. It only cares about three things. Is this survivable? Is this predictable? And can I conserve energy doing it? If the answer is yes, your brain adapts. This is called neural adaptation. Your brain recalibrates its baseline to match your environment. So if stress, poor sleep, and low energy are consistent, they stop feeling like problems. They start feeling normal. Think of it like a thermostat. If the temperature drops slightly every day, you don't notice the change. Your system just adjusts until one day, cold feels normal. And instead of fixing the system, you just put on a sweater and say, this is fine. Now here is where it gets more interesting. Your brain doesn't just adapt to these patterns, it starts protecting them. This is something called predictive coding. Your brain is constantly predicting what happens next, and predictable patterns require less energy. So your brain prefers them even if they're not good for you. Let's look at a simple loop. You work, you feel stress, you come home, you pour a drink, you feel temporary relief, you go to sleep, and wake up slightly off. Then repeat. Your brain learns this perfectly. By the time you're driving home, it's already preparing for that drink because it knows what's coming. And to your brain, familiar equals safe, even if that pattern is slowly draining you. And this is where alcohol plays a very specific role. It doesn't just exist in your routine, it stabilizes it. It becomes the signal that your day is over, the off switch. And chemically, that's exactly what it does. Alcohol increases GABA, which calms your nervous system. That's the relief you feel. But your brain compensates. It increases glutamate, which is stimulating. So later, when the alcohol fades, you're left overstimulated. That's why you wake up at 3 a.m. That's the low hum of anxiety the next day. But here's the key point. Your brain ignores that cost because the pattern is predictable. So instead of questioning the loop, it protects it. It mistakes a rut for a refuge. Now, you might be thinking, if this is affecting my sleep, my energy, my mood, why don't I notice it more? And the answer is simple, because the change is slow. If alcohol made you feel terrible instantly, you'd stop immediately. But it doesn't. It shifts things gradually. A little less energy, a little more brain fog, a slightly worse morning. And your brain adjusts, again and again and again, until your baseline quietly moves and you forget what better even felt like. This is where cognitive dissonance comes in. Your brain hates conflict. If you believe, I'm healthy, I'm in control, but your behavior says otherwise, that creates tension. So your brain resolves it, not by changing behavior, but by changing perception. It creates a story. It's just one drink. Everyone does this. I deserve it. And the most powerful one, this is fine. That's not truth. That's your brain protecting efficiency. So how do you break a pattern like this? Not with willpower, not with pressure, and definitely not with extreme rules, because rules create resistance, and resistance eventually breaks. You break this with awareness. Awareness interrupts the pattern. The moment you notice it clearly, your brain can't run it automatically anymore. You bring it out of autopilot and into conscious control. So, instead of forcing change, you ask better questions. Do I actually feel better an hour later? What do my mornings really feel like? What happens if I repeat this for a year? What does fine actually mean? Those questions break the loop. But there's another piece most people miss. You can't outthink a biological deficit. Your brain is software. Your body is hardware. If your hardware is depleted, your software won't run properly. Alcohol affects your energy production, your neurotransmitters, your recovery systems. So even if you want to change, you're operating with reduced capacity. This is where biological support matters, not to force change, but to restore baseline. Vitamin B1, for example, is critical for brain energy. Alcohol depletes it. Without it, your brain can't produce energy efficiently. That's brain fog. Benfotiamine helps restore that. NAC supports glutathione, which helps your body process oxidative stress from alcohol. That reduces the physiological load. And when your biology improves, your awareness sharpens. Your tolerance for just okay drops. You naturally start rejecting patterns that don't serve you. So this isn't about becoming perfect, it's about becoming aware. Because this is fine isn't a destination, it's a placeholder. It's what your brain says right before something needs to change. So here's something to think about. Is your version of fine actually good enough, or is it just familiar? Because sometimes the biggest shift in your life doesn't come from a crisis, it comes from finally seeing what you've been tolerating. I'm Mike Hardenbrook. Thanks for being here. I'll catch you in the next session. Take care of yourself. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you got something out of this, do me a quick favor, leave a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It helps keep the show going and would mean the world to me. Got ideas, comments, or questions? Shoot me an email at mike@trycloud9.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for extra support, check out Cloud9, makers of Daily Restore, a once-a-day supplement to support your body from alcohol's effects, and Rise and Unwind AM/PM, a 24-hour combo to curb cravings, balance mood, and improve sleep when taking a break. Go to trycloud9.com and use the code PODCAST to save 15% on your next order. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.